Hello everybody, my name is Katie Rowe Mitchell, co-founder of Unfold, and welcome to this 10-minute tune-up. This tune-up is going to be all about the feet and the ankles and the toes. And the feet are really the foundation of our bodies when we're standing. And we also notice that when we sit a lot at work, some folks have certain habits that might be causing them discomfort in the feet and the ankles, like crossing your legs or sitting on your foot, or maybe pouring the weight into the inner or the outer edges of the foot when you sit. So today's class can be done with your shoes on or off. I'm going to do it with my shoes off so that you can see, but just know you can have your shoes on if you're working in an office and you can't take your shoes off, that's fine. And we're going to work on just general mobility of the big toe joints, some mobility of the ankle joints, and stretching of the Achilles tendons, the muscles and the connective tissue around the ankles and the arches of the feet, just to get the foot moving so that it can support you in a way that feels really good. All right, so I'm going to move my chair back and we're going to get started. We're going to start standing. All right, so we're going to begin. I've just got a folding chair here. Any chair will work. And all we're going to do is use the back of the chair or your desk or your table for a little bit of support and step your right foot back a little bit. And I'm on the ball mound of my big toe. And look back at your heel. The tendency is for the heel to kind of sickle out to the side. So keep the heel right over the second toe. And we're just going to rock the heel back and then forward. So we're sort of using the ball mound of that back big toe as a point of contact for the floor as we open up the back of the ankle there. Okay, now pause with the back heel pushing down. The heel is straight back, and we're going to bend the back right knee a little bit, kind of pretend like you're sitting back into a chair, and then straighten the back knee. And then do that again. Bend the back knee and straighten. So keep going. My back heel is grounded, so you're going to feel some interesting sensations through that right ankle. Good. Let's do one more. Okay, and then step forward. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So left foot back, tuck the toe under. Make sure the heel is pointing straight back, not off to the side, and we're going to press the heel back and then lift it up. And you can even look back and watch your foot here. Sometimes we think our foot is doing something. We think our toes are doing something, and they're doing something completely different. So this is intended to get the ball mound of the big toe joint moving. Good. All right, now we'll pause with the heel pushing back and down, and we're going to bend the back knee a little bit and then straighten it. But the trick is to keep the back heel down. So again, this is working that ankle mobility. Our ankles can get really stiff depending on the shoes that we wear, different habits, walking habits that we have, sitting habits that we have. A couple more. All right, very good. Good. Okay, from here, I'm going to face forward. You can face in any direction. You can use the chair or your table for balance. We're going to point the toes out to the side. So I'm creating like a V shape and lift up and down. Okay, so we're just going to do this maybe like 8 to 10 times. This is building strength in the ankles and the calves. If I've got any ballet dancers or dancers in general, this position will feel familiar. And if you've never done this kind of lifting and lowering, it gets tiring very quickly. Your calves really have to work. Good. Okay, let's pause here. Bring the feet all the way together so the inner edges of the feet are touching. And we're going to do the same thing, lift and lower the heels. But the trick is to keep your ankles hugging in towards the midline. So you're trying to have those ankles touch. And you can challenge the balance by not using your chair or hold on to that surface for a little support. Couple more. Last one. Good. And then release. Okay, I'm just going to shake out the ankles a little bit. So just lift up a foot, kind of shake it out, pretend like you're shaking water off of your toes. Try to let the ankle relax, let the foot relax. And then we'll switch. Same thing on this side, shake, shake, shake. Shaking like this just helps to kind of increase the circulation down there, relax the muscles and the joints and the connective tissue. It also is kind of fun. Good. All right. Next up, feet are right underneath your hips, toes point forward, and we're just going to work on lifting and lowering the big toe. Okay, so look down at your feet, and what I want you to do first is spread your toes out as much as you can, like your toes are a fan and you're trying to spread them out along the floor. And maybe you get some movement there, and maybe you don't. That's okay. Just do your best with it. So I'm fanning my toes out. Then, to the best of your ability, lift only the big toes and then lower them back down. Okay, we're going to do about 8 to 10 reps of this. So you might be looking at your big toes and your big toes aren't budging at all. And that's okay. With practice that will come. If that's the case, this is something that you can work on. And you could do this with your shoes on as well. Your toes won't lift as high, but you'll still get that engagement of the muscles through the top of the foot and the ankle. This kind of work can also sometimes cause some cramping in the foot and the toes. So if that happens, it's okay. Just take a break and come back to it. All right, now pause. We're going to keep the big toes down and try to lift the rest of the toes. And this one's kind of tricky for me. I'm able to get the middle toes, but the pinky toes don't really want to move so much. And when you're lifting and lowering the toes up away from the floor, the tendency is to kind of roll to the inner edge of your foot. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the whole foot grounded and just lift and lower the toes. So this is a tough one. Other things I've seen happen is when people try to just lift the big toes or all of the other toes, everything lifts up. And that's okay too. Just do your best. Good. Okay, relax. Let's do that little shake again for a few breaths on each side. All right, pause here, feet back underneath your hips. This time we're going to work on some range of motion with the ankle. So the first thing is to roll onto the outer edges of the feet. So the arches of my feet lift up. Then I'm going to go the other way, roll to the inner edge of my feet, and the outer edges of my feet lift up. So I'm going to keep moving the foot. So supination and pronation. And usually most of us have sort of a habitual way that will hold the foot. And so one direction is going to feel less familiar than the other. And that's okay, right? We're building awareness of how the ankle moves, of how the foot moves. Let's do a couple more from side to side. Good. Okay, and then let's pause here, ground the feet, take a big breath in, let it go. Nice. Okay, take a seat. Sit at the edge of your chair so you've got a little bit of room. You're going to draw your right knee up towards you and roll out that ankle. Nice, slow, intentional movements. Go the other way. Okay, now hold the back of that knee. So I'm going to interlace my hands behind the leg, and I'm going to point and flex the toes. Okay, so this lifted leg can be as straight or as bent as you need it to be. It doesn't really matter for today's class. The intention is to focus on the motion of the ankle. Okay, now pause with your toes pulling towards your nose. Now we're going to bend and straighten that knee. So our feet and our ankles, of course, don't exist in a bubble. They're connected to the legs. They affect the knee joints, the hip joints, all the way up the chain. Okay, and then release. Let's do the other side. So start by drawing that knee in, draw the shin in, begin with the ankle roll. Keep breathing. Go the other way. Good. Grab the back of that ankle, or the back of the knee, excuse me. We're going to point and flex. I think it's so interesting to actually look at your foot. Because like I said, sometimes you think your foot is doing something and it's doing something totally different. All right, pause with your toes pulled towards your nose. We're going to bend and straighten the leg. Good. All right. Release that. Ground both of the feet. Look down at your feet. Again, try to spread the toes out a little bit. Toes point forward. Ankles are underneath the knees. The whole foot is grounded. Gently on the floor. Bring the hands into your lap. Close your eyes. And just take a few mindful breaths here, noticing the way that the feet, the ankles, the toes, the arches of the feet, the heels feel. Sensing the whole bottom of the foot connected to the ground. And last but not least, cultivating a sense of gratitude for your feet, for everywhere that they take you. Great. When you're ready, lower your chin down towards your chest, open up your eyes, and lift your gaze. Thank you so much for joining me for this tune-up. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your feet feel great. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.